Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of That Thom Clancy Show. I am, of course, your host, Mr. That Thom Clancy. Thank you all very much for joining us today. Big guest, well, very special guest, one that I've been looking forward to having on the show for some time, and I'm really glad we could get that to work out. But before we do that, because I force you all to be part of my life, I would just like to say that last night I went out and took some pictures of our current celestial visitor, that lovely comet whose name I never actually bothered to learn. I'll be editing those and getting them up on Instagram later today. Also, the real star of the show, for me at least, was I got some really awesome pictures of Jupiter and three of the Galilean moons. And I've never seen Jupiter in the sky before. I've certainly never seen another planet's moons before. So that was really awesome. Also, Microsoft had a small event today where they showed off some games. Like there was the Honey I Shrunk the Kid game. That wasn't actually Honey I Shrunk the Kid. How do I know this? Because there wasn't a named ant named Auntie. And there was no Lego brick. But other than that, they had showed off some small game named Halo. It looks all right. But most importantly, my guest today is a virtual reality artist whose work I have been following for some time. While her work as a whole is stellar, it's been her recent work in space that's really captured my imagination. Bits and Pixels, please give a warm That Thom Clancy Show welcome to VR Rosie. Hey, Rosie.
Thank you so much.
How's it going?
So good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, hell yeah. As I said earlier, you've been one of the people I've wanted to have on the show pretty much since the start of it. It just was a matter of building up the courage to asking you to be on the show. So,
Oh, thank you.
Because VR, virtual reality art, is a pretty new field.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's still kind of small and in its infancy, and I've gotten to know a couple of the like OG virtual reality artists, and now I'm trying to get out and get to know everyone else.
Yeah, it's still pretty niche, but there's a whole community that's really starting to flourish now, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it's something that's been very interesting from my perspective as somebody with a very minimal education in art history, to
Yeah.
see really what is an entirely new medium start to develop. And it's really fun because art has a tendency to kind of start in an imitative fashion before people start to learn the rules of the new medium.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of artists out there who are recreating works of the masters, or the old masters I should say, in this virtual space, before moving on to figuring out kind of what their voice is.
Yeah.
And it's
Absolutely.
it's
And you're
been
completely right by
nuts.
saying it's a new medium because it's like sculpture, but can actually sculpt a whole world, which has never been possible before with materials and space, to be honest. So it really is a whole new medium, and it's so exciting to be on the front line of helping this medium really grow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the
Yeah.
things too that kind of gives it that leg up over sculpture is, you know, uh, a sculptor is only as good as the materials they have at hand to an extent. And if, say Michelangelo had been given a particularly poor piece of marble, he would not have been able to make David out of it. He'd have
Yeah,
been going there to hammer and chisel at it and hit an accidental, and break the whole thing because of the finicky nature of the material.
yeah,
But virtual reality, you have this ultimate control of the material.
absolutely. And your imagination can be brought to life in exactly how you imagine it. It's so brilliant.
It's it's
Really is.
nuts. Um,
Yeah.
to give the audience some sense of this, let's make sure I'm queuing up the right one here. This is some of Rosie's work in working in recreating some of the paintings of previous masters, with Frida Kahlo, Vincent van Gogh. and Salvador Dali. I was like, wait a second, who's that last person? I'm like, it's Salvador Dali. Why is the video being stupid? Video, stop being stupid. No, the video is being stupid. But trust me, it's excellent. You should go to her website and you can see it all right there.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
something always goes wrong. Why does it have to be this?
It was probably quite a hefty file. That might be why.
It's not that like I told you right before we started the show all the crazy stuff I'm doing to make the show happen. So I'm gonna chalk this one down to user error because I'm pretty sure that my computer, who's hiding right over there, is handling it all really well. Well, and thank you everybody who has joined us today. It's awesome to have you here. You guys are tied for the most important part of the show. The other most important part being whoever my guest is. And today, VR Rosie Summers, awesome person. But yeah, so I know from following you on social media that you do a lot of work with the Oculus Quest.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the coolest things is you have like your Quest sketchbook of just the various things where it's like, I imagine you're out and about and you have an idea and you just throw the Quest on and you're just like, all
Yeah.
right, cool, let's go to work.
Yeah. That was what excited me the most about the Quest, was the fact that you can just take it around with you like a personal sketchbook and then just pop it on, and instead of having to write notes on paper, you can write notes in space around you. You can jot down these images of worlds, these visions that you get of environments and landscapes, and jot them out in space with the Quest. And first thing I did when I got it was just go out on a walk to the park, in a park, and sit down and start sketching this landscape around me. And it was amazing to feel the breeze and the wind whilst being immersed and consumed in technology. You're still in a physical space of inspiration as well.
That's just
And I
awesome.
also took it on holiday with me, which may sound super strange, but I took it in my luggage. And every night on my break, I did a quick sketch of what I got up to that day. And what I found is that when I look back at the sketches that I did whilst on holiday, I'm instantly taken back to the time I drew them. And it conjures all sorts of smells, all sorts of feelings, even what I was wearing when I was painting it, because of how immersive it is when you're so inside of the sketch. You start to imprint your feelings into it as well, and they all just came rushing back as soon as I put on the headset, which it was a really fascinating moment.
No, I can absolutely 100% imagine that.
Yeah,
I've sadly I've only been in the space once, but it's I guess it's the point of the Museum of Other Realities is to put the audience uh, in the art in a way that you just can't with a traditional painting or a traditional
yeah,
sculpture or any other piece of pre-digital art. You know,
yeah.
and
And
also,
what I've
yeah, God, that's just sorry. I just kind of like
it's fine.
it's virtual reality art to me is like I mean we've been talking for the last couple of days before the show, and for me personally, like virtual reality is this technology that I have always wanted.
Yeah,
It's the promise of that computers made to me when I was a little kid, and now as an adult we have it, and it's
yeah,
so much bigger and bolder than I ever thought it could be, because it's not just games, it's not just splicing together dinosaur and frog DNA in Jurassic Park. It's this immersive, social, artistic, entertainment, philosophical medium
yeah. It touches
that's
every industry. So it imprints
yeah.
on every industry in some way. Medical as well, science.
Yeah, I'm it's
Yeah,
I remember when I heard the news when Facebook had initially bought Oculus, and I was just like, why is Facebook getting into VR? This makes no sense. And several years later, it makes perfect sense.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just, wish they were doing cooler things with it. But hey, that's on them. But
Beside them
Um,
wanting to steal our Face ID.
yeah, well, there's a reason why I'm on a Valve product.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know, I
well,
know.
I also I like the tethered experience. Um,
Yeah,
I like the idea of not looking like a person with a silly box on their face drawing in the air. You know, no
yeah,
offense. Like, I have mad respect for people who do that in front of other people.
yeah. I never do it on my own. I always do it if I'm with someone else, just because
Yeah,
it's a big security issue if you're not looking at your bags or anything. It's always
yeah.
when I'm with someone else. But but yeah, I don't. I see it in the future. Of it just being you just look at someone and think, oh, they just yeah, not like oh look at that guy over there. The headphone. I can see things shifting. More this medium sort of comes mainstream.
Yeah, it's going to be
But
really
yeah, I
interesting.
mean,
Oh, sorry.
it's a lot of it's self confidence use really because you don't you can't see you know you're looking a bit like an idiot, but yeah, you get used to it. I mean, I perform in VR. Part of my living is looking like an idiot, so I just get used to it.
That's actually something that was a question I have later for the show, actually, about your performance in VR and stuff. And
Yeah.
but real quick, Rari Tai, I would like to say thank you for the follow. I'm sorry the notification didn't come up, but apparently Streamlabs hates me today. Uh, I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, Streamlabs. You know, like, I thought we were cool, but yeah, yeah. So, since you use the Quest a lot, do you use that as well for your home setup, or do you have like an Oculus Rift or a Index
Yeah,
Vive?
I have a Rift. The Rift is probably the most comfortable headset that I've tried. I mean, it's arguable with the Index because the Index is super comfortable as well. But it is a lot more clunky. I feel like even if it was the most comfortable headset I've ever tried, if I was to be in it for a lengthy period of time, I might start to feel the weight eventually, just given because it is a lot clunkier. But the Rift is so stripped back and it's so light and it just fits perfectly. Um, and now it's sort of molded to the shape of my head
Yeah.
because it's had that much wear. The plastic around the head is actually started to feel wonky, like the shape shape of my back, head on the back. So I can't. There is no other comfortable headset now that has just molded to me. But yeah, I spend most of my days in that, and then I use the Quest for little doodles, on the go sketches, things when I'm out of office basically, or demoing something to someone else. Then I'll use the Quest. But yeah, the Quest is too heavy to ever use for longevity at the minute. It's neck pain for real.
Yeah, I can fully understand that. Being in an Index right now, doing the show for the past few months, I'm pretty sure my neck is a lot stronger than it was back in
It's
April.
muscle, six
Yeah.
pack on the neck.
Like Bruce Lee looks forward in time and he goes, wow, that guy has a neck that I aspire to. You know, I bet he can headbutt like there's no tomorrow. So
It's funny.
I probably could, but whatever is what it is. Um, so what drew you to Tilt Brush in particular?
In particular, Tilt Brush, the video of Glenn Keane, the famous Disney animator, and
Oh,
obviously being an animator myself, I look up to this guy so much. And
I
then to
know
see him
precisely the video you're
using,
talking
yeah,
about.
it was a pivotal video. It really, I remember watching it and just being like, is that taking space? What? What? How did I not know about this? I just found it on I think I don't know if it was just an advert or something on YouTube. I can't remember where I found it. But I was just instantly like, wow, how was this not made the news? This is such a revolutionary tech. How have I not known about it till now? And it was that from watching that and watching him bring a whole new element to the way character design. I was just gripped, and I just bought Vive as soon as it came out, basically.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
because at the time when that video originally came out, I was working with a couple friends trying to do virtual reality game development, and
right.
I had, we had all kind of like heard of the Vive, but
Yeah,
really the Rift, that was the future, And I mean, especially, we had no idea that there were going to be controllers, and the original Vive controller looked like some weird, like, Harry Potter wizard staff the size of like a small dog,
Yeah. Yes.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it was
It was
seeing.
different for me. I loved Five over the Rift for ages. Um, it's very similar to you now. I didn't want to touch Facebook, but as soon as I tried the Rift, that was it. I was just like, it's just fit me so well, and it just seemed a perfect headset for me that I just had to buy it for the work I'm in,
Yeah.
and it has turned out to be one of the best.
Yeah, my first experience with the Rift, the actual consumer hardware, um,
Yeah,
I've had a, for lack of a better word, ridiculous life, and I've developed a friend circle that is all over the place. And I showed up to my friend's work. My friend, in this instance, is the studio head of a small game development studio known as Red Storm Entertainment. Uh, I know people in my audience have heard of them. They've responsible for some very important games over history. That's them talking, not me talking. And they were showing, or they were just about to announce Star Trek Bridge Crew for Oculus and Vive. And he was like, "Hey, do you want to play the new Star Trek game that we have?" And I'm like, "Wait, you're making a Star Trek game?" And he's like, "Wait, nobody told you about this?" And I'm like, "Steve, I don't work here. Nobody tells me these things." And he's like, "Yeah, we're making a new Star Trek game for VR." And I'm like, "You're making a Star Trek game for VR?" And I'm like, "Steve, I need to play this right now." you know and they got together a group of the developers, and we all were playing internally, and just like, I'm sitting there in the pre-release Oculus headset, and just sitting in the shuttlecraft as it's going around the ship, and like, I'm crying. I'm legit crying because, like, Star Trek
yeah,
is like my thing growing up. Like, I love Star
yeah.
Wars, don't get me wrong. Like, I would, like, Star Wars Squadron's coming out, I'm losing my
I'm so
mind.
excited. Yeah,
But like, Star Trek is like, that's the universe I would want to live in. And
yeah,
I'm sitting there and I'm seeing a Federation starship, and it's right there, and it's just like, it's everything I ever wanted.
yeah.
And just,
Yeah.
that's the
I
power of
imagine that
virtual
was a very
reality.
defining moment for you, you know?
I just, yeah, I dig it. And I didn't get a Rift. I got an Index because I wanted room scale. Um,
Yeah.
because at the time, room scale was a thing.
Oh
Fictional
yeah.
Cat, Chroma, thank you for coming out today. Good to see you both. Just to give you fair warning, Fictional Cat will make you do a dab later in the show.
That's fine.
Okay.
I still do dabs now. I shouldn't do, but I still do it. I went bowling recently and I dabbed. Oh my god, right. I instantly.
Because I only do it at like my day job usually, because I am significantly older than everyone else I work with by about a decade. So they're all like, "Oh, old man Thom doing a dab. That's hilarious." And
So I sort of do it just as a meme thing now. It's not. It's not like I'm cool. I'm gonna dab. It's like I'm just gonna be utterly meme lord and do a dab right now.
pretty much like I just did right there, because they redeemed some points for me to do a dab. Uh, and look, when I'm in front of a camera in an instance like this, I have very little shame. I play a robot on the internet.
Well, you're in VR. You
Yeah.
lose sort of your inhibitions. You're in another world. It's easy to just get so immersed and stuff.
Yeah. It also it reminds me a lot in this perspective, like theater. I mean, because you have a costume. You have,
Yeah, performing.
like I literally built like kind of a theater stage here for this.
Yeah,
So it absolutely feels like that. So it's just like, I'm, maybe I wouldn't dab, but me on the show would.
Personality.
Yeah. Yeah, like is this character pretty much me? Absolutely. It's a little bit bigger and louder than normal me, and the head gestures are a lot more overdone. But,
Mhm.
you
There's a
know,
whole psychology behind avatars. It's really fascinating how we project onto these virtual conditions.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, there's so much about VR that I have found to be so much more exciting and interesting than just gaming on it. Uh,
Yeah.
Chroma brings up VR chat, and while I have only ever completed like the tutorial for VR chat, I I think that and like Alt Space VR, Neo's VR, like really interesting pieces of kit and technology.
Yeah, well, I recently
Um,
had an art exhibition in VR chat out of Super Rare, the blockchain art auction site. And it was me and a whole host of amazing crypto artists. We actually had these sculptures laid out in a gallery in VR chat that anyone could go to. And that was a new experience. I saw it being the future galleries. It was a very good moment.
yeah, yeah. This brain is running faster than my mouth. It happens frequently. Um, but yeah, we're just really starting to just we're at the tip of the iceberg for what we can do with virtual reality performance.
Yeah,
And especially the situation right now,
yeah,
it's helping to drive that tech and that innovation forward.
hmm
Like I can't wait until we start seeing stand-up comedians doing getting somebody like a Chris Rock or whoever
that'd be
the
so cool.
yeah, like hopping in a
I
VR
thought of that.
thing, and
VR stand up.
yeah,
That should still
doing
be a thing. I'd attend that.
yeah, like
VR
have
stand
a
up night.
virtual Apollo theater and have people buying actual tickets and having actual seats, like, and then giving the ability then for, because it's there are still some comedians who are doing their work over Twitch and over YouTube and stuff, and you know Twitch chat is excellent, don't get me wrong, but there's that lack of interactivity that
Yeah,
that's there, that they're the artists are used to, and having that
yeah,
ability in VR would just be amazing.
yeah. Body language. So important.
Mm-hmm. Body language, actually hearing the audience reaction,
Mm.
because it's you don't know if a joke's actually landing if you're just doing it to a chat room,
Yeah,
you know. So, I mean, the great thing though is I think all of my jokes are hilarious because I don't hear any of them groaning. I'm the funniest talk show host ever. Thank you guys. But yeah. Um so that kind of brings me back to live performance. In particular, there was one you had on your website where it was you accompanying a DJ, or the DJ
yeah.
was accompanying you, one of the two, or both.
It
Um,
was. Yeah, I think it was a joint. It was definitely a joint. But
but like, one, uh, it's gotta be weird uh, to be in a space with all of those people, but also in a space completely separate.
yeah, I
Uh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, it's that was the first piece that I've done where I've actually integrated the um exterior and been influenced by it, because it did influence me, because beats that the DJ would do, I'd then synchronize with paint I used and how I applied it. So if a new drop was coming, I'd like work my way up to it and then go woo 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 woo, and I just start popping up. So it was like coexisting the two realities there, which is really fascinating.
Did
That's the first time I've done that. With all my other performances, it's just sort of like my work projected on a screen. Everyone comes and sees it and watches the process, and then at the end they have a chance to actually explore the world themselves. Sometimes, usually that's the sort of case which it doesn't. I don't really interact in the sense of space, unlike that performance where I most certainly was.
did you uh God, my brain is being really stupid today. Sorry. Did you rehearse beforehand so you had more of an
Yes.
idea before of how the set was going to go? Because that would
Well,
be kind of a jerk move if you just had to completely improvise on the spot.
that was improvised.
Okay.
I preferred it that way. I do rehearse the performance side, so I rehearse what I'm going to paint, when I'm going to paint it, sort of thing. But what I did was I just went with the music. That my actions became more fluid. It was more spontaneous, and I think that's a lot more impressive to watch rather than a structured performance. It's just I was sort of going with what the music made me feel at that time, which it feels more of an art form.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of it.
Nice. Yeah, it's uh definitely a really interesting idea because a previous guest of the show and person who's or one of the one of the organizers of one of the discords I posted to today, hi Sabby, has done similar things I know,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
strangely enough, with the DJ that I actually went to high school with,
Oh
uh,
wow.
yeah. It was crazy. She was all like, "Yeah, I did this set with so and so," and I'm like, "Wait, I know her."
Small world.
Yeah, I know. It really is. I've been working up the courage to reach out to her to get her on the show because it would be nice to also have like the DJ perspective on this too. Also, too, I mean, like I haven't seen her spin any records for longer than I care to put actual numbers to. But she was quite good back then, and as she stuck to it, I imagine she's still quite good now. So, but I don't think people spin records anymore. Damn.
It's still a term you use.
Yeah. Well,
Everyone knows me.
the last time I saw anybody spin records was 2013, and it was guy Kid Koala who's based out of Montreal, and he was spinning for Deltron, the sci-fi hip hop artist who had released his first album in 12 years.
Nice.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I would like to work with a DJ more often. It's pretty cool to have another creative working with you, but in a different sense. So you've got the music, and then you've got the art. It's the DJ, bit of DJing.
yeah. I think it would be almost interesting too if like does tilt I haven't I haven't worked with tilt brush too much personally because I don't fashion myself as much of an artist, and
Say that, but Tiltbush really does bring out the creative side in everyone. Even if you consider yourself not creative, you still feel compelled to make in a this sort of space. It's really weird. I've countless times of um, immersed people in Tiltbush, and I've had the same thing. Like I'm not really creative, but then they start making some sort of wizardry, and it's fascinating.
well, I'm not going to say I don't think that I'm creative. I just
Yeah,
I like working in the 3D space with primitives and polygons as
yeah,
opposed to like just freeform stuff. Like I've definitely played in Tilt Brush, and I will be sure to like send you a couple pictures of things that I've done in Tilt Brush in the past that I'm legit proud of. Like I think they're great.
yeah,
I just no, I do art with words.
yeah.
That's my
Oh, of
medium.
course, yeah.
Um, but it'd be interesting if there was like a way to collaboratively sculpt as well in Tilt Brush in that kind of live setting. Or am I
Yeah,
just like
I'd
feature
love that.
creeping on the
I'd love
Tilt
to work
Brush
with
too?
other artists or
Um,
any other 3D platform. It's something that I've really wanted to do for a while now.
I imagine like I mean, there's got to be a way because I mean, it's Valve developed, or no, Google developed Tilt Brush, but either way, Google's got excellent network engineers. I'm sure they can figure that out. Uh,
Yeah,
but I assume they just don't really want to spend the money on it right now.
I think that's the thing. That's the thing. They would have done it already if it was something that they were, because they've done quite a few updates ever since saying that they were going to do it. So, yeah, I think that's the issue.
Yeah. Oh, that said though, there is one piece I can show. Haha, because I took a still. Um, and it is the Horsehead Nebula piece. Uh,
Yeah.
because well, I mean, my favorite. Let's see. Are you going to work for me right now? Google said that Tilt Brush wasn't developed with multiplayer in mind and that they'd have to do a from the ground rebuild. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but
Yeah,
probably not going to happen.
yeah.
Maybe I'll just have to figure out how to make it an Unreal. Not going to
I
happen.
know. I think Jared sketched it. But I think there's other VR articles which are considering it as well. So maybe in the coming year we'll see something that's actually stable to work with other people, and we can get some cross collaboration going on. Really
That would be very cool. Oh, Hollowhead Games. Thank you for the follow. Sorry, my alerts aren't working because I don't know what's going on. I don't know. No. It's a day. I don't know what's wrong with it. Oh man. I'm going to blame being out until super late looking at the comet.
on it.
You
Neo
know,
eyes.
dude, I didn't even have the opportunity to even pull my photos off of my cameras last night. It was like I got home, I was ridiculously tired. I went to bed
Yeah,
and then slept way too late and got started
yeah,
on show work too late. And well, I mean, not confirming or denying anything, but yeah, I got started on the show late. But um,
yeah.
you know,
I got it comes on Monday, and God, it was just so amazing to see such a phenomenon with the naked eye. I usually would have to get a telescope out. Well, is what I thought I'd have to look at something like this. But no, it was just there and visible. It's a really fantastic moment seeing it for the first time.
yeah. It's I haven't, the last comet I saw was Hale Bop back in the
Yeah,
90s.
I never saw it. I wasn't really um didn't really have I was too young. I didn't know anything about that. But
It's okay.
I wish I would have seen that. I mean, everyone keeps going on about it. Whenever I've seen Neo Wise, like, oh, you see, no, I didn't.
It was a lot more easily visible than Neowise.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what people said.
eh,
Which is,
it was super bright. Like, yeah. But Neowise was still a very beautiful comet. And it's
yeah,
for where we were watching it last night, we uh it wasn't like you couldn't look directly at it and see it. You kind of had to trick your night vision and look like just off axis to catch it in the periphery.
yeah. A lot of stars do that as well.
Yeah.
But I actually managed to see it straight on. But if you looked a tiny bit next to it, you could see more of a streak. But you could still see the sort of slither. It took me
Yeah.
ages to see it because it was pointing in the direction of the sunset. So it was just so bright for so long, and we were playing for hours. But then soon
Oop. I hope I didn't lose you there.
I
There was a bit of a weird time jump right there. I'm going to blame the black hole that I put into the show. What? They cause weird effects on time because of their large
that's for sure.
gravitational mass. You know. But yeah, it's I'm really looking forward to pulling the photos I did because it was like the first time I've ever played with long exposure photography too. Not that like long exposure really
Yeah,
matters. You only have to expose for a few seconds with a modern camera to get a decent picture, but you know.
yeah. I actually managed to get it with my iPhone, which was quite bad. Only on a 10-second exposure, but it wasn't amazing. On iPhone. but it was better than I thought. I didn't think I'd be able to get such a capture with my phone.
It's pretty amazing though, being able to, 10 years ago, if you'd said to anybody that you'd be able to get a picture of a faint comet with your phone,
I know.
people would have been like, you're crazy. That's never going to
Yeah.
happen. Even though they were at the forefront of phones becoming the ubiquitous personal computing device.
Yeah.
And they were so close to cardboard VR too. They didn't
Yeah.
even know. Wow. I just, yeah. I was like, maybe that first one will work now. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? So far. Please keep going. Nope. Broken. Darn it.
No.
Yeah. Because, the Starry Night piece you did for Van Gogh is a personal favorite of mine, because I really like that piece in particular of Van Gogh's work is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But also the Dali piece that you did as well is also very interesting to me because when I was living in Florida several years ago, I made a trip to the Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida, which
So jealous.
yeah, but why is there I mean, it makes perfect sense why there's a Dali museum because he had some friends and he left them a bunch of paintings apparently, and so they opened the museum.
Yeah.
So, dude, who's friends with Salvador Dali, right? Like that's just crazy,
Yeah.
But yes, so got to see a bunch of that work, and of course everybody likes, to an extent Dali's work because it's weird.
Yeah. A lot of people are just, you can spend ages interpreting it. You can just, and then you notice something else. It's one of those, it's those artworks that you can just look at for hours, but then still see something else. And yeah, fascinating. It really is.
Yeah, and
Very much like a dream.
yeah, and it's just it has been so interesting too to see, these reinterpretations of these classic paintings because you're not just recreating the painting as we look at it in a standard two-dimensional perspective. You're creating depth to these works that was only ever implied, and it oh my wait a second, we're getting rated by Unreal Engine. Guys, I don't know what to do here. Batten down the hatches. I know why we're getting rated by Unreal Engine. Victor was in charge today, wasn't he? Oh, all right there. Studio audience, batten down the hatches. We are now at DEF CON Duckus. That's the name of the duck. Everybody in Unreal who's coming over here, thank you so very much for joining us on That Thom Clancy Show. I am your host, Mr. That Thom Clancy. I do a silly performance capture VR podcast, all made within the wonderful world of Unreal Engine 4. My guest today is excellent virtual reality artist, Rosie Summers, VR_Rosie. You can find her on Twitter and Instagram. Oh my God, this is crazy. What are you doing to me, Victor? Why? I'm freaking. I'm also flipping people off. That is an accident. Index controllers, they're weird. So you were expecting a game development stream. Well, I'm sorry, but this is what I do. I used to do game development streams until I got bad at game development. But you know what I'm halfway good at? Pretending to be a robot on the internet. So thank you all very much for coming in. That's awesome and crazy. And I'm going to talk to Victor about this later. He needs to submit like warnings in writing beforehand. But real quick, anybody who's in there, who was in the community spotlight this week? I'm looking forward to seeing it in the launcher because there's always cool stuff there. And then 1 week they put me in it. I don't know why that was considered cool. Wootmaster, thank you so much for the follow. That's awesome. I'm here several days a week talking with really cool people, independent developers, virtual reality artists, the occasional actor. It was, yeah. Wow. Sorry, I'm freaking out a little bit. I need to calm down. Take a deep breath. There we go. But yeah, It wouldn't be a true raid if you saw it coming. Just saying, you're absolutely right. You absolutely are. But sometimes I like to be prepared. You know, like GI Joe style. GI Joe. I don't know. I got nothing. Now I feel like I'm making my guests feel weird. Oh no. But thank you so much for the raid, Unreal. You guys are awesome. I can't make heart hands, but just imagine I'm like making a heart. Fictional cat, send heart emotes out for me, please. Thank you. But yeah, so you've also been featured in the Museum of Other Realities,
I have, yes.
which
That
is
was
like,
an amazing moment because that was one of the things I visited just while starting out as an artist. And I was like, wow, it'd be amazing to have a piece in here. And then to actually have a piece in here now, it's like, whew, wow, it's amazing. And that was actually one of my Inktober sketches that I did, which is featured in the museum. So that was one of my quick sketches. So it means a lot for that too. For that.
now, is it still up there in the museum?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, someone went in recently and then sent me a picture of it. So
I
yeah,
need to like,
it's definitely still.
yeah, I need to go back in because it's,
Yeah,
you know,
so many new pieces now. It's an amazing place.
yeah. Well, it's the sad thing is that you can't see it in something other than on it's something that you can't see outside of virtual reality, but in like that
Yeah.
cool kind of way, you know, it's just there's no way to replicate that experience outside of
No.
VR, you
No.
know. And Victor, thank you. I really appreciate your confidence. He says I'm using the engine in great ways. And dude, I hope so. I'm just trying to do something moderately fun that I hope, or something that I find fun, and find a great way to talk to cool people and bring those cool people to other people. Uh, you know, because, well, Rosie's very cool and does cool things. And I want you guys to know about her cool things. Uh, you know, I say that about all my guests, but it's because you're all cool and you're all special. So just saying that. Um, so yeah, I need to get back in there. Am I doing ferrets tonight? No, I'm not doing the ferrets tonight. I can go museum hopping. Great thing about the museum, no set open hours.
But anytime you want.
I do miss museums though. Museums are great. They're one of
I
those things.
know. I know.
What kind of
Well,
content? What is the content of this? The content of this, Kerrigan Son, is that this is a live podcast that I am running through Unreal Engine. I'm doing personal performance capture using consumer grade VR equipment. And I'm talking with virtual reality artist Rosie Summers, who's awesome, by the way. And you can find her on Twitter at VR_Rosie. So as your lower bottom half, or at least legs, looks rather odd, but still really cool what you do. Thank you. Um, yeah. So, well, everybody got here at kind of a great time because unfortunately I'm kind of out of questions and I haven't seen very many through there. So I do this. Does Rosie have a YouTube? Rosie?
I do have a YouTube. Yes. Um, my custom URL is VR_Rosie, and yeah, I'm currently in the process of rendering out a lot more of my old sketches, but with HD quality using the cool new motion path system, which is in Tiltbrush. And that's all going onto my YouTube, so I'll have some new content up there.
That is a really cool new feature.
Yeah.
I just wish that, like, from my perspective, because I also have kind of have this love of. Do I have any examples?
How does it go again?
I don't
It might
remember.
be the push mode. Push mode. Oh no, it's not. It's the uh, Wonder Woman. No, it's not Wonder Woman. It's the other one. No, it is Wonder Woman. I think it's Wonder Woman. It was. It's re. It's a remix of Blue Monday. but it's by Sebastian. I can't remember his last name, and it was featured in the Wonder Woman movie trailer, which is where I got it from. And then I should find it.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's Wonder Woman.
Well,
It's by Sebastian Thom. Sorry. It's a really cool track. I love that remix. I love the song anyway, so remix.
nice. Well then, I guess now would be an excellent time to transition over to the 5 questions. So, the 5 questions for everyone who's just now joining us for the first time, and for you, just in case you aren't 100% aware, is a series of 5 questions that I put together before the show that have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about previously. It's really just kind of like a barometer for us to get to know you a little bit better. But before we can do that, a fictional cat has redeemed his channel points to make me dab, and points to make you dab. So, oh snap! I didn't even have to do a countdown or anything. She was just right into it.
You could dab.
Dude, this has been the week of excellent guest dabs.
I was conscious of hitting my microphone as well. I was like,
yeah, I used to be very conscious of hitting mine, but then I switched to using the one that's built into the index, and so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Thankfully, I may have done it a couple times in the first few shows, and it was terrible. So, 5 questions. Number 1. Which fictional universe would you most want to live in?
oh my god, so hard. Harry Potter.
Okay.
I'd love to be a wizard or a witch. Be amazing. To be honest, that's why I like the Beelzebub as well. Is that it does make you feel a little bit like you've got these special powers that are just coming out of your hands and you're making magic in space. You just feel very wizardry. So that was.
You know, earlier I alluded
very
to
boring.
I alluded to wanting to live in Star Trek, but in truth, Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I have an unnatural love of that series of games.
Yeah.
Including the ones people don't like. But
very good question. I'll probably come up with a better answer.
I mean, hey,
the world's spinning through my head now. And
I'm like, Harry Potter's a perfectly good answer.
Yeah.
You know, it has several good movies, some fun theme park attractions. You know.
Do you ever do that thing where you think that maybe you've got powers and you just focus, try and move your phone or something, then you still realize that you're a normal human?
Yes. Every day. I still think that I have the Force and I can make remotes come to me. And Pets of Warcraft, thank you for the follow. And I don't care that I know that I don't have powers, but I still like to pretend that I do.
I do.
Because it would be a much more interesting world.
I know.
But in a way, we kind of do, because you make art out of quite literally nothing.
Yeah.
And I've somehow convinced people that I'm worth talking to for an hour on the internet.
Get out.
I spent a lot of time with English people as a child, so I've developed a very sarcastic and self-deprecating sense of humor.
That's how we roll.
It is. I mean, you know, I've been to London like a half dozen times. I lived in Edinburgh back in 2006. Oh, yeah, that place is excellent. Bokun 004, thank you for the follow, too. Yeah, I did the Fringe Festival back in 2006.
What? I do that every year, but unfortunately, obviously not this year. But every year we go and see the fireworks.
For A Legend Forever. I got you there. Like as a performer or just going?
No, just go.
Oh, because
love the city, love the whole vibe, and it's a fantastic fireworks show. It's like best fireworks in the world. It's amazing. And they also people down the castle.
Yeah. I was an actor there.
Oh Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, I did. I was there, and we did, like 4 performances a week for the full 4 weeks of the festival. And
Wow.
man, like it takes a lot to do that.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was. Thanks for the dab and the shout out. Heck yeah, man. I mean, you redeemed the points. I'm gonna do my absolute best to make sure you get that shout out. But yeah, Edinburgh is excellent. Actually, it's the only time I've ever like lived in a foreign country. And when I have you can't see it because my arm is invisible, but when it is visible, I actually have the Scottish flag on my as
oh,
part of my
really?
sleeve because
Wow,
it's that experience will forever be a part of me, and I wanted to remember it even though I'm not Scottish at all and everybody thinks that I am. So
that's
is what
amazing.
it is. But
That really
uh
is amazing.
question number 2. Uh, what TV series are you currently watching?
I'm actually currently watching Dark on Netflix.
Yeah,
I don't know if
I
you've
know Dark.
watched that. I'm on the second series so far, and it's amazing. It's like mystery and political and dark, funnily enough.
Nice.
And yeah, it's got a little bit of time travel element as well, which obviously I love. I love anything time travel. I'm obsessed with it. So yeah, it's really good. I really recommend it.
Nice.
Yeah.
We actually have a question from the chat in A Legend Forever. Question for Rosie: do you only make content, I presume art, or have you made games in the past?
Yes, I currently work at a game studio in Leeds called XR Games, and we recently, well, not it feels recent still, but last year we released PSVR title called Angry Birds Movie 2 Under Pressure, and that was amazing to work on. So I was an animator on that. So I also did Unity elements as well, animated all the little puppies getting up to mischief and all the birds, rigged some birds, textured some birds, and then yeah, in the engine. It was so fun to work on. And we've got
Nice.
some other titles planned as well, which are really exciting.
Awesome. Oh, glad we got a good answer for that, and it makes question number 3 a little bit easier for me, and that is, uh, what was your first video game?
That was my first release title.
Well, I mean, like, what was the
Um,
first video game you
oh,
you
that's true.
played as a kid?
It was I had a Sega Saturn, thanks to my dad, and I actually played Tomb Raider, the first ever Tomb Raider, and I'm actually still obsessed with it till this day. It's an amazing game. I've actually got the PlayStation version, so I can play it on my PS2 because my Sega Saturn died. So yeah, I've got it, and I've even got one of them old retro TVs thanks to my boyfriend, which it runs amazingly on, and it's just how I remember it.
Nice.
Nostalgia.
We've got a question for you in chat. Are you Welsh or Australian?
I'm northern, northern England. Yeah, it's got a northern accent.
I figured you weren't Welsh. I can understand what you're saying.
It's I imagine it's hard because a lot of English languages sort of English accents just sort of get amalgamated to people who don't know.
And then another question: what game engine do you like to work with the most?
Seeing as I'm predominantly from a 3D background, using like Maya, Unity is the most easiest transition we can use, just because I'm used to working. Maya and Unity are very similar with how they work, and it's just an easy transition. I do really love Unreal Engine, and what I haven't been able to touch it, I really want to, just because I keep going to Unity ease. But I do really want to get my head into Unreal. It is some really amazing.
Well, I say this real quick. I am not in any way sponsored or supported by Unreal Engine, uh, but
I
I
know.
highly recommend it.
Yeah,
And it is free, and there is an excellent set
yeah,
of learning tutorials at
absolutely.
youtube.com/Unreal Engine. So,
I've played around with the the where you can start building stuff with the headset on. Played around a bit with that in the editor. That was cool. Because
you know,
Unity didn't. Unreal got that before Unity did. Feels pretty.
I strangely have not actually used the VR editor mode. It's just still for me, it's so much easier to mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's where I see it best is when you're blocking out an environment, and obviously if you're clicking through a screen and you a lot of the time build out the headset and then off play and then you can see it. But with the editor, you can just hop on a headset and actually physically move things in space to how best you're going to see things in the environment, how far and close you can be, the scale of things is super, super fun, especially in VR. It's stuff like that, those quick edits that you can do, which I find super, super helpful. There's no better vision than being inside the world, right?
yeah, yeah. Maybe I should start doing that when I build out my sets. That would make a
In like
lot
the
more
original,
sense.
the start stage, the blocking out is fine, but once you want to actually start visualizing the space, then yeah, headset usage is
It will be
brilliant.
nice one day. Well, question number 4. What is your favorite painting?
Is this my painting
Well,
or
no,
like
no, no,
of all time?
just all time favorite painting.
Yeah, I actually really like Frida Kahlo's self portrait, the one that I painted.
That's a good piece.
That was, I think it was the first ever painting I did actually, first ever recreation of a famous work. Frida just such an inspiration to me ever since I found out about her work in GCSE art. Just been inspired as a woman and as an artist. She was a true inspiration, and yeah, her pieces just really resonate with me. They're so raw. She's there's no filter there. She's saying exactly how she feels, and you really get that from her works. And it's yeah, I've always admired it.
Nice. That's a very excellent answer. And I don't just mean like the painting, like the thought outness of it. Because yeah,
Yeah,
my for me, it would, I don't know exactly which particular one I would pick, but I would go with Monet's London series, and it's just because for me, he just nails what London feels like.
yeah,
Even separated by a century from when he made, or when he originally did those paintings, from when I found them, I was like, yeah, that's London.
yeah,
you know and it's just, it is so nice to be able to be transported by a piece of work,
yeah.
which,
And that's what I felt with Frida. It felt like you're taken straight through the canvas into their life and really feel it for what it was.
ooh, we've got 2 questions in here, one for you, or the first one's just for you,
Yeah.
and then the second one's for both of us. The first one is which painting, and that's in reference to your favorite painting of all time. I think he may have, or he or she may have misheard, or whatever. I talk over people all the time. I'm sorry.
I think it's called Self Portrait. Which is the actual. She did quite a few self portraits, but yeah, it's called Self Portrait with Thorn Necklace and Hummingbird. That's my.
By Frida Kahlo, right? Nice.
I like so many of these. I like the Frida's and Broken Column and the wounded here. It's so powerful. Yeah, it's so many.
Well, the next question is for both of us. Uh, what is your favorite game? To give you a little time to
Now
think on this, I'll go first for
I
once.
know what our favorite game
Oh,
is,
never mind it.
but
Then go ahead.
you go first though. It's fine.
Okay. Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, very
Uh,
cool.
because it is, for me personally, it is as close to a perfect game as can possibly exist.
Yeah,
I've played that game more than anyone ever should, and I still love it. And yes.
amazing. Yeah, I like. This is gonna sound like there's a lot of argument of whether this is actually a game, but I love Sims. The Sims was probably one of the first games that I got addicted to. I just couldn't put the mouse down. I just had to keep playing this game. I had to my Sims married, have babies, and are just sort of addicted to it. And that plays a lot into what my career is now, is making things, making worlds, telling stories. That's what I was doing in Sims from a young age, and that sort of stuck with me. It seems like a natural game for me to play. I love that aspect, making stories and playing with different characters' lives, and it is a form of storytelling. Sims is a form of storytelling, and I absolutely love it.
Nice. I would absolutely agree with you that The Sims is a game. Uh,
Yeah,
I take a very broad definition of what constitutes a game, but at
yeah,
the end of the day, for me, like I like the inclusivity of my definition because it's just I like sharing this hobby with other people, and even beyond that, it's just you know different types of games bring different kinds of reactions and different kinds of emotions, and it's just
yeah.
like the game I play most right now is Pokemon Go. you know
Yeah, I play Pokemon Go.
Nice. We should talk later about maybe trading some region specifics.
Yeah.
um the one time I don't put it on the 5 questions fictional cat and they actually play Pokemon Go, I have asked guests from Australia, Africa, Germany, Spain, all these people, if they play Pokemon Go and can trade me regional specifics, and nobody has said yes.
To be fair, my regional is the worst.
I
No more
mean,
monsters than mine.
mine's a
Sorry.
cow.
Well, that's
Yeah,
not, isn't it? Taurus?
yeah. Well, like
That's
our
a mighty cow.
yeah, but
That's
it's
a
a
big
cow.
cow.
It's not
No,
like
it's
a
swan.
buffalo or a bear or a wolf. It's a cow.
It's mighty though. It's even a star sign.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I
Yeah. I think
guess.
that's super cool. That and Australia's. Fingers count.
Although my personal favorite Pokemon is Sandshrew because it looks like a pangolin.
Yeah.
So, and Foodius, thank you very much for the follow. Um, and I do also on this arm have a Sandshrew and Sandslash tattoo.
Nice.
I also have the original Normandy as a tattoo as well. Yeah, I'm a collector and a
Wow.
nerd. Uh yeah. But the final question of the 5 questions. If money and the pandemic weren't an issue, what's the one place in the world you would most want to visit?
To be fair, I'd like to go see the Northern Lights. Nice.
I hear
That's
Iceland's a good place to go to see them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd love to go to Iceland to see the Northern Lights. Just explore Iceland in general. Just it's such a beautiful country. The blue lagoons and the mountains and everything. It's just a dream landscape, and the waterfalls. And then on the night you can see the aurora, and that would be my dream place to go. I'd love to get one of them like little igloos. Just camp out and then fall asleep looking up at the stars and the aurora. That'd be a dream.
Nice. That's actually, yeah, everybody for the most part has that I've asked that question to is named somewhere kind of like, for lack of a better word, mundane. Uh,
Yeah,
they want to go somewhere like usually somewhere like kind of tropical or something, but like for
can't think of
somebody,
anything worse. I hate hot weather. I want to. Yeah, I'm more
Rosie,
of the cold scenic.
this is why we're friends. Because my place is Antarctica.
Very
Yeah,
similar landscape.
yeah. Well, for me too, I've never been south of the equator.
Yeah,
So that's one of the reasons. And I want to go somewhere that we as humans haven't royally screwed up yet.
yeah.
And
I'd love to just go visit the Galapagos actually and just see all the animals and creatures.
yeah,
That'd be amazing.
I also would like to get into a fight with a penguin. I know that like the penguin would kick my butt, but I
Yeah,
kind of want to do it. You know?
yeah. It's the remote places which are the most genius.
Yeah.
As soon as you go to an environment and you see human contamination. So you see like a crisp packet on the floor, you're instantly just a bit like, ugh,
You're
no,
like, oh, I'm
it's
in this
food.
lovely, beautiful place and nobody else has been here. Crinkle,
Yeah.
crinkle.
Like
And
you go to
yeah,
Cornwall and find a secret cove, and then you have your own beach to yourself, and that is it's such so amazing to find, and things like that that mean most
yeah.
with regards to going on holiday.
Damn, Rosie, this has been a great show.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Legend Forever asks, isn't travel to Antarctica limited? Yes, it is. And that's why the question is if all of that kind of stuff wasn't an issue. That said, though, while it is limited, you can find great ways of getting to Antarctica. You just have to be willing to work for them to do it. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
it's a conservation area, isn't it?
yeah, because it's no country's allowed to lay any actual claim to it, despite the fact that several countries have laid claim to parts of it. Uh, but I know specifically the main U.S. site. Uh, you can get work down there. Like it's the summer months are when it's available for basically like contract work, and you can go down as like food service or mechanical maintenance, and then of course scientists too. So I mean, it's available to go down. You just have to. It's just harder to get to. Um, but apparently, the main it's I forget the name of the station, but the main U.S. one, they do 24-hour delivery pizza. And
Wow,
yeah.
I'd abuse the hell out of
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I abuse the hell out of that right now. um, but before we go, Rosie, where can people find you and your work online?
Yeah, I spend most of my time on Twitter, far too much time. That's VR underscore Rosie, catch me there. And Instagram, the same, VR underscore Rosie, but with another underscore at the end. YouTube, VR underscore Rosie. And my website. Yeah, if you want to contact me, feel free to drop a little comment in my comment section. And
Nice. Well, Fictional Cat, thank you very much for being on top of those links. Dude, best mod. Just saying. Um, yeah, so Rosie, thank you so much for joining us
thank
today.
you. Thank you.
I mean, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not gonna ever regret it. But you have an open invitation to come back on the show whenever you want.
I would absolutely love to. I would absolutely.
Yeah. So next time you have like a big piece or something like
Yep.
that, just let me know. And
Yep.
Lord, I have no idea how I'm supposed to say all of that name, but thank you for the follow. I will call you Lord Nacho. Because those are the parts I absolutely know how to say. And this dab's for you. Oh, and Rosie even gave you a free dab. What? But, oh man. Ihanacho. But Nacho works too. Lord Ihanacho. I will pronounce your name the way you wish for it to be pronounced. Because it's your name. Yeah. Well, perfect. You pronounce it. Yeah. I mean, you provided me with a really solid pronunciation guide there. So yeah, I do my best. Sometimes, like, dude, Dutch names, I fail at Dutch names so hard because they have like those weird G's. Like, I feel like Dutch letters are a lie. But well, once again, Rosie, thank you so much for joining us. Now is the time of the show where I cut to my silly close-up camera and I say, thank you for coming, everybody. It's been awesome having you here. Thank you for all of the new follows. Malafine, thank you very much for the follow. Lordy Hanacho, we've also had Foodius, Bokun 004, A Legend Forever. Thank you all for joining us, Chroma. That one's for you. thank you all for joining us today. This is going to be the last show for the week, sadly, because house stuff happening this week. And next week's also going to be another short one because more house stuff as well. But I will be here on Monday with Mike Murdoch from VR Chat. He's
Oh
another
wow,
great.
nice.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm like freaking out about that one because I love his art.
Same, absolutely same.
And
He's
I'm like,
amazing.
I'm losing it.
I'll definitely tune into that.
Oh hell yeah! Don't worry, I'll message you. Um,
Yeah.
so there's that coming up, and then next week, I'm also a member of hashtag Pitch Your Game. We're going to be doing another event on Tuesday from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. British Summer Time, or 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So that's going to be really cool. And on Sunday night, we'll be doing a community game night with Unfortunate Spacemen at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So yeah, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Thom Clancy. The H is very important, even if it is silent. And on Instagram at that Thom Clancy, because somebody else beat me to at Thom Clancy there, and I secretly hate them. But for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to all the raiders who came out, my mods, all of you wonderful, lovely people. You and my guests are the reason why I do this show. So thank you all so much. I will see you all next time on the very next episode of That Thom Clancy Show. Have a great day. Wear
Thank
your
you.
masks, drink some water,
Thank you, everybody.
wear sunscreen. It's summer. And take it easy, everybody.